Good morning, y'all. Today we have a good one for you. We're chatting with Anirudh, an Indian-American actor you may recognize from popular shows such as 911 and Never Have I Ever. We chat about the ups and downs of Hollywood being brown men on TV and the responsibility that holds.
At least regarding the acting profession, it's like, if you really, you still enjoy it when the moment that they say action to the moment that they say cut, you are just euphoric. And thankfully, I still feel that way. That moment is still like what I look forward to every single day that I'm on set.
We laughed a lot during this chat, and I know you will too. Enjoy.
Because yeah, DEI has just become the scapegoat for kind of any problem. Like, they're using the California fires, for example. Oh, it's because of DEI. And I'm like, what are you even talking about?
Plane crashes, fires.
Yeah, DEI. It's like, dude, this is so insane. And then that rhetoric, and it's coming from the top, right? So like, it trickles down into everything. And I know, especially in Hollywood, like the shutting of all these diversity and inclusion programs,
all of them,
superseded all of them. It superseded this administration, but stuff like this doesn't help. You know what I mean? Now there's no precedent for them to be like, oh, we should reinstate it. And so I just think it's just doing a disservice to everyone. Especially people of color who are just starting out now. It's like they're starting out with a hand tied behind their back, and that doesn't excite me. That really sucks.
When you're a young performer or artist in Austin, does this come across your consciousness? Like were you thinking about this? Did you ever think I am a minority, or were you just like, nah, I love this thing and
I'll be honest. So no, I don't think. I mean, I don't think it was because I was like ignorant, like willfully ignorant of it. But I was just naive. I think when you're a kid, you don't necessarily think of those things, right? You're just having fun. You're playing with your peers and things like that. At least in like that performance world in Austin, of all places, it's like the hate didn't exist. That sort of othering, you didn't feel as much. Now, in other parts of Texas, outside of that, yeah, you do, but it always felt like a protected space in that sense. But also, I was performing as a kid, but then when I got to like high school, I was still doing theater in school and stuff like that. But I really had no aspirations to be a professional actor at any point. My parents, they wanted me to be a doctor, and I don't think I was rebellious enough to be like, no, Mom and Dad, I want to do this. Because again, I don't think I saw the possibility of that happening. So I was just kind of like, yeah, it's cool. I'll do this thing. This is the path that everyone else does, so might as well go into it. And it wasn't really until I moved out to LA that I
Did you study medicine?
I was pre-med, yeah. Started out as biology, then I did public health. I took my MCATs. I moved out to LA initially. My girlfriend at the time, she was already living here. I moved out here because I'm like, oh, I want to go to UCLA Medical School. I think that would be pretty cool, LA's a great city. And then when I got here, I ended up getting like a commercial agent, and I just started going out on all these auditions. And it just got to the point where I was like, this is awesome. And I was like booking stuff too. So it was just like, that kind of took up all my time. And I'm like, I'm very happy about that. And I just kind of shut my books, told my parents like, I can't do this anymore.
And what'd your parents say?
Yeah, they were disappointed.
They were?
Yeah, understandably, I think disappointed only in the sense of like, just like every parent has that fear, you know what I mean? You want what's best for your kid. And I think emblematic of not having representation is like they don't have any kind of role models, at least in this industry, to be like, oh, you could be like X, you could be like so-and-so. And so, yeah, they're like, I mean, what are you going to do with your life? Like, how are you going to take care of yourself? Oh my gosh. My dad, he was like, I really wish you had told us about this before you, started going to college. But now they're happy. Now they're very supportive.
Yeah.
And they love to brag. So it's all good.
Role models.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're a role model? Can you claim that? Can you take that moniker?
I'm always hesitant to take the moniker. only because I feel like I still have a lot more, at least in my eyes, to achieve before I can, before I can feel like I have an impact. But I think people have come up to me. They've like, whether it's on the street or like DM me and being like, yeah, you're very inspiring. And they're like, send me these long messages, and I'll be like very thankful. They'll ask me for advice. And so I think from a practical sense, yeah, I have served as a role model, but I don't know, I'm always hesitant to.
What's the line when you're like, I have more I have to achieve? What's the finish line where you're like, I crossed something and now I'm worthy of?
Yeah. I feel like it's always changing, isn't it?
I guess I'm asking it.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not asking it like a trap. Maybe I am, because I'm like, I think those lines always move back.
They do.
They just like
right. You never reach it, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of designed that way.
Right.
It's designed for you never to be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And I try.
It goes back to gratitude, right? It's kind of like, I gotta get that. I gotta get that. I gotta get that.
I try to encourage people through this podcast, through anything, through the book, through my work, that someone who creates peace in their life is a role model. Like, I don't need you to be some sort of celebrity for you to be my inspiration. Like, if I meet one happy person who's genuinely happy, that's a role model for me.
Yeah.
Like the person who just like cooks it actually enjoys their life. So many people don't enjoy their life.
Yeah.
Because they're waiting for the line. They're going to cross the line where they can start enjoying their life.
Right.
Where they can be the role model or good enough. And I think I try to encourage us that, like, you are a role model right now.
Yeah.
Because you're enjoying your life, because you took a risk.
Right.
Because you were honest with your parents, because you were honest with yourself.
That's fair. And I'm sure that's what, I guess, so many people see, right? They see that, and then they're like, okay, this is someone that I can connect with. I just think, I mean, maybe it's just part of the culture. Maybe it's just like what it kind of conditions you to think, right? This like, you gotta hustle, gotta grind, like work-life balance or whatever that is. And like, I think I've been trying to actively kind of get out of that, but yeah, it's tough.
Now, on the other side, what do you want to accomplish?
What do I want to accomplish? So there's been a bunch of projects that I've been attached to, and I think what I really, really want to explore is, or rather, I would love to produce this and also, star in it. There's a lot of projects regarding South Asian masculinity, which is something that you see a lot in Bollywood, but there's a veneer or like a veil of like, there's like a musicality and like a lightness to it, which really I don't think gets to the core of it as far as how a South Asian male experiences it growing up in America. And I don't think any movie or TV show has really touched on that. So that's something that I really, really want to explore.
You wrote this?
I didn't write this. No. A friend of mine wrote it. I've like kind of made some edits to it, but I'm like attached to being it. And that's something that I would really love to take off the ground.
Cool. Yeah. Say it out loud. That's good.
Yeah.
I really believe in people make a wish, on their birthday.
Yeah.
They don't tell anybody.
Definitely. Yeah.
But I think that's a lie. I think you got to say it out loud so the universe hears it.
Oh, you mean like let everyone know? Let the room know.
100%.
Okay.
All these people making wishes in their head. What's the point?
Right.
If you don't have the courage to say it out loud, why are you going to get it back in return? And so I think we do have to put these things on blast in order to have that full circle moment. Tell me about this masculinity that's not present, or
sure.
Is it? Yeah. Tell me.
So I think more often than not, like a model minority, right? I feel like South Asians, I just feel like Asians in general are kind of lumped into that category, It's like they're always painted as like, oh, very successful doctors, professional degrees doctors, or engineers, lawyers, IT guys, all that sort of stuff. But it's like, somebody who doesn't rock the boat, somebody who doesn't, they're not going to ruffle any feathers. They're just going to kind of follow orders, go along with the flow. And I think the reality is, oftentimes, our people, we do get to that point, but it's not without, challenges. It's not without constant othering growing up. It's not without getting into altercations with people, being bullied, all those sorts of things. And we do fight back, but I think at some level, you go down the pipeline and it just gets distilled and you become forced to kind of conform. And whether that's because of our own culture or like the culture of the United States.
Conforming is assimilation, you?
Yeah, assimilation, that's a great word, right? You just kind of like, all right, we'll go with the flow. Yeah, I just want to, you know, do the thing that everyone else is doing, that so quote unquote kind of white America is doing, that has taught us to do. And, you know, unfortunately, you kind of see that with our current administration. There's a whole swath of South Asians who have kind of conformed to this Trump camp, right? That being said, though, I think we just don't explore that enough, where there are so many South Asians out there who aren't that model minority, who are constantly kind of rallying against the shackles of the society or the shackles that the society has put on us, and it's just never highlighted. It's just never indicated. So, perfect example. I think it's in World War II. India, at least like Indians as part of the British Empire, we had the largest number of troops, like straight up, like as far as sheer amount, it's like the largest number in active duty, and that's, you know, a consequence of like the large population. But you never hear about that. And they're involved in like campaigns all over in the Pacific, in Africa, in Europe. But you never see that, right? Because, and that just kind of furthers that narrative of like, oh, they're not really soldiers. They're not really fighters, that sort of thing. And, you know, decades and decades of that, you just kind of reinforce this idea, this thought process. So that's what I really want to explore and like break away from.
I mean, also, but isn't that like whiteness doing what whiteness does, which is erasure?
Right. Exactly.
At its...
And
media's been a part of that erasure, but
100%.
It is why I use the moniker of brown enough. I don't say Latino enough. I don't say Dominican enough. I don't say Colombian enough. Like I grew up in a melting pot, which is an overused word, but truly Queens is the most diverse place in the world. You know, my best friends were South Asian and Jamaican and Honduran and Colombian, you know, like all the browns, all the shades. And we have these unbelievable histories that have been taken from us,
right,
or not promoted or not shared,
right.
You know. And so to bring them to the surface, which, you know, you don't need my blessing, but I am like, yes, please bring them to the surface. It is extremely important. Also because when I have this play about this Dominican man that James Bond was based on, named Porfirio Rubirosa, and I've done it a lot, but I'll never forget this young brown kid, Pakistani, in New York City, was going to Pace College to study acting, and he said, I always thought I needed like a Superman who looked like me or a Batman who looked like me, but I just need regular people who have the courage to be themselves. And so when I think about your film, I think about someone who's just themselves. Like, what's a better exploration of masculinity other than like being genuinely ourselves, asking these big questions? I want you to get the, you know, be a superhero for Marvel. Like, you know, I'm not blocking that from you, but I also just want you to be a regular person.
No, of course.
I want you to be Harry on the street.
Right.
And that's also hero worthy.
Definitely. My only concern was that, like, to get to that point, do we need to have some sort of an emblem, a symbol that kind of immediately before that transcends it, so then we can kind of whittle it down? Because that's the thing, I haven't seen any of it, right? So it's like...
Oh, yeah, we have,
right?
And it gets worse.
And it gets worse and worse, right? So it's like,
like every year.
Somebody in middle America, they're not going to... I don't know if they would be...
interested in Harry?
Exactly. Because they want that, you know, like, oh, the pomp and the ceremony. Yes. So it's like, do we need that first? But I totally agree with you, because that is the ultimate distillation of that, right? Somebody who's really being themselves and just...
And in a way, that's what you do right now.
To an extent, yeah.
It's just it's just a person with a job.
Just a person, with a job.
Like, that's it. It's kind of happening in a way.
Yeah.
And I see what you're saying about the person in middle America. Part of me is like, I love you and fuck you. You know, like...
Right. I mean, it's that's just their environment. Like, what do you... And I think that's the power of media. You know, I think you've talked about this before in your podcast. It's just like, it transcends so much, and it's
Oh, it's so freakishly powerful, and people don't even realize.
So powerful, right? Like,
and it's crazy we don't realize how powerful it is, because if we want to get into politics, you look at the Murdochs, you look at Fox News. It's not just like a symbol. It is powerful.
Everything. Shaping brains.
It has shaped minds and brains and election.
Yeah, yeah.
And so media in any form, film included, television included, has this immense power. And I just wish, as a people being brown people, black people, anyone who's not white too, because we all got to,
inclusive.
We're all in the
it's
cage.
all part of it, right?
We're all in the cage. Right. No one's free till we're all free. That we start really embracing the power of this medium. Now, granted, there are forces at play that don't want you to make your film.
Right.
Right.
100%.
They don't want it.
Right.
And so the scheming and Machiavellian we have to do, unfortunately, to make it happen. But it's a fight. It's a fight worthwhile. You know that.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate battle. I want to know, just going back, about your play. Were you in it?
Yeah. It's a
played...
solo show.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's a solo show about this man, Porfirio Rubirosa. And there's a chapter in the book about it. And when I discovered this man, my life changed.
Really?
I mean, single-handedly. I read a Vanity Fair article. I went down a rabbit hole.
Wow.
He was twice the richest man in the world. He was married to Barbara Hutton and Doris Duke and Zsa Zsa Gabor and all of these people, and followed by the FBI for 17 years. Just this epic sort of story.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell in love with him. I call it a reverse love story because I wanted to be him.
Wow.
I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a hero. So I went home and I told my dad, yo, you know about this guy? And he's like, oh, yeah, he's just a playboy. And I was like, no, he's so much more. Why wouldn't you tell me? And then I fall out of love with him when I realized how sad he was, how much he wanted to be seen by whiteness. This is a man who got a nose job in the 40s, whitened his skin. This is a man whose friends would call him, little black boy, or his friends, air quotes.
Right. Acquaintances.
Who would, every time he got angry, they would say, there's that Negro blood. This is a man who's Dominican, who came from an island that committed genocide against Haitians. So it is this real reverse love story where I wanted to be Ruby. Everyone in college called me Ruby. And then I saw what a warning he was of what I shouldn't become.
Cautionary tale, yeah.
And so, I wrote this play. It's a solo show, taking it all around the country. We just did it on the East Coast. And,
that's amazing. Congratulations.
And it's beautiful. Yeah, thanks.
That's awesome.
It's very beautiful, and I'm grateful to do it. People are healed by it, and that's why I just know we have to keep making. I just wrote this thing, which comes from a friend of mine, Samuel Lopez Barrantes. Shout out to him. Lives in Paris. Beautiful artist, beautiful writer, and he said, Nazis were in Germany for exactly 1,500 days. Not Germany, in Paris. Nazis occupying Paris for 1,500 days, and in 1,500 days they are eradicated by art. And all of a sudden, it becomes a safe haven for people like James Baldwin and Nina Simone. All these people move there. Art heals them.
Wow.
Art eradicates the hate.
Wow.
And so that's why we need to make art.
Constantly, yeah.
Like, you got to make the movies,
Yeah, it's life or death. Really.
You got to do it.
Right.
It's why I like the producer and your moniker that you know.
Yeah.
Oh, also, we didn't record your intro. Would you do your intro?
Yeah, well, okay. Which camera should I look at? Does it matter?
Right here.
Hi, I'm Anirudh Pisharody. I'm an actor, producer, and writer, in that order. And I'm from Austin, Texas, and now I live in Los Angeles, California.
I like producer in the moniker because it's nothing changes until we're signing checks.
Exactly.
It's nice to receive a fat check. Amen.
It's
we got to
phenomenal.
live.
Yes, we all have to live. And also, the producer thing is like, they always say, no one's going to kind of open the door for you. Those things that you want to do, you have to do it yourself. And being a producer is the only way to do that, as you know.
Yeah.
So like, I
wish some more doors were open for us.
Of course.
Really.
But until that point, you kind of got to, and I'll be honest, like, there's aspects to producing which I'm just not the best at. I'm very chill. I don't want to be the bad guy ever. I don't want to field angry phone calls, And I did a movie where I was producing it and I acted in it, And that was like, my gosh, I feel like I've never recovered from that experience, because I would be like shooting a scene, then I'd have to go take that hat off, put on the producer hat, make a call, and then someone's like, oh, we need you back on set. Go back, and I did that for like 10, 12 days. And at the end of that, I was like just doing the producing aspect. I like collapsed. I like literally was just like in my trailer, and I just went, it was like this spirit just like left my body. And yeah, so I probably won't act and produce again, but I'll definitely one or the other at the same,
And what's the writing part of you is, you said you did a little writing on this project.
Yes.
You want to make, what else?
Just very, very little, but there's some other stuff also exploring South Asian masculinity. The writer in me is very new. Yeah. The writer in me is very new, I would say. I heard this thing where someone's like, if you want to be a really good actor, you have to be a really good writer. And that really resonated with me. So I've been like trying to work on it. Yeah.
I'm trying to think about it. You agree? I mean, I think I'm both, but.
Oh, okay.
But you agree?
I think so. Mostly, maybe from like an improvisation perspective. Because when you are writing, you're kind of, the imagination is just full tilt, right? You're going 110%. And I think you need to have that when you're acting as well. It's easy to just kind of find the mark and say the line, but like to have that truly authentic performance, right? That the imagination part of your brain really has to just be firing on all cylinders. And I think writing helps with
it's
that.
making me think Meryl Streep should write a play or something. You know, I'm like,
really should, man.
I would love
really
to know
should.
if this is the true
If it works or not.
formula, because I'm like, Daniel Day-Lewis ain't never written nothing.
No.
He can act just
But I'm
fine.
sure he is. But I'm sure he is a good writer, right?
Yeah.
Because like his dad, I think his dad is like a poet, really
I didn't know
famous
this.
poet.
No.
Yeah, his dad is a super famous poet. His son is now a director. So I'm sure if he really put his mind to it, I think the issue is that writing takes a long time.
Yeah.
And like every time I sit down to write, I'm like, this is the hardest part.
It's
of
hours.
It. It's hours and hours and hours and hours. So, but it's new. But I'm excited for it. It's a very enriching experience.
And how are you, like, evolving the craft? If you heard this thing, you know,
Yeah.
good actors are good writers, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to be the best, so I'm gonna do some writing.
Yeah.
How do you evolve the craft?
When you say evolve, you mean like evolve my own craft? Like the craft of
practice
acting?
it. You know, get closer to it.
I guess how I evolve it is I try to do like, half a page a day.
Oh, you do?
No matter what it is. I mean, there's many days where I like go back and have to rewrite it, but like I try to do half a page, even if it's just like drivel, just like, not nonsensical ideas, but like even if the idea is shit, I just try to get that out there because at least, I don't know, I feel like it's all a muscle and you just kind of have to.
Even on the days of like like yesterday, you were at 5 a.m. to past midnight. It's like,
yeah,
you're gonna
I'm in
write.
my trailer for a while. Yeah, so I'll just like put something down, because half a page on like Final Draft is not a whole lot, but it just at least makes me feel like, okay, I am. Even if the script itself isn't improving, I feel like I'm improving in a sense of like my own confidence, my own kind of sense of worth, and like my own sense of being a creative. I don't know. Does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
Flex the muscle.
flexing the muscle, and it's just like acting. They say the same thing, right? You got to do it. Just like being an athlete, you just keep doing it, no matter what it is. It can be the worst audition, the worst script that you've ever read, but it's like just do it.
I do say, so many people don't get that first shitty draft done.
Yeah.
Because they want it to be perfect, but the most important one is the first shitty draft.
100%.
Like, get very good at just finishing something.
Yeah. Yeah, that follow through.
Finish something terrible. Most people will spend their whole lives not wanting to finish something terrible, and so they'll never do it. But it's way easier to take notes if something exists.
Exactly.
So just get it to exist, y'all. Just do it.
Words of wisdom.
Nike philosophy. Just do it. You said people reach out to you for advice. What advice do you give?
It's usually people will be like, hey, I'm really interested in becoming an actor or an actress. And they're just asking me like, how do I get started? What would you do? My first question to them is always kind of like, okay, well, do you have, any acting training? How did you kind of come to the decision that you want to be an actor? And if they respond with, no, I don't really have anything, but, I love plays or movies, what have you. I'm like, okay, you should definitely join an acting class, because I think that's step one. You know, you got to really figure out if like the being in the room with other people and that lifestyle kind of is for you. And then after that, I just tell them the same thing I just said, is just reps. I mean, you got to keep doing it no matter what it is. I think the first thing that I did when I moved out to LA, it was like a student film. It's like a Cal State student film. And I remember the first scene is I'm just tied up, totally naked in the desert.
Stop.
And I was just like,
that's number one?
That was the first thing I did. And I was just like,
naked, tied up in the desert?
No pay, you know. I think we had like Lunchables or something like that for our meal. And dude,
Sick.
I remember thinking, I like lying there and I'm like,
so good.
What am I doing? You know? Because you have that thought. You're like, this is really fun. But like at the same time, what am I doing? You know? So you really have to like ask yourself, are you ready for like all those challenges?
Are you ready to be tied up in the desert?
But ass naked. And that movie never came out.
Lunchables.
They never finished it. It never came out. And so I'm like, what did you do with that footage, you know?
It'll show up in your documentary.
Yeah, one day.
One day.
Oh, man.
E doesn't do that no more. Does E even exist? Remember those like behind the
scenes type stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all these like random tapes people had of people would just pop up out of nowhere. That's yours. Someone's waiting to deliver that.
Make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll call E. Does E exist?
I have no idea.
Everything's dying.
Everything's
disappearing.
Our world is changing.
Does VH1 exist? All these channels I watch.
VH1 I don't think exists anymore.
You say it does exist, George.
It does exist?
Yes, I think so.
Oh. Damn. What do they show? Just like music videos? Or?
No, it's all reality shows.
All reality?
It's wild.
Housewives and stuff.
Do you know I got caught cutting high school because I went to TRL Live? Remember MTV TRL Live?
Wow.
So I went to school in Manhattan, and me and some friends left and went to see TRL outside Times Square.
Okay.
And Tina's mom was watching and was like, "The fuck? Is that my daughter?" And she called my parents. She called everyone's parents who were there.
Oh my god.
And then we all went home. And they were like, "How's school?" And we were like, "Oh, school's great. Loved today. Unbelievable Tuesday. Loved school." And they were like, "Really? Yeah. What'd you do?" And everyone's like fucking with us.
Yeah.
And then they ratted on us. It would end up being more funny than no one got in serious trouble.
Okay, right.
We have good parents, thank God.
That's awesome.
You know,
yeah.
They were like,
was it a great experience though?
Yeah, I think it was fun. Like, it's part of growing up in New York, I think. Also, I mean, a part that I don't think anyone knows anymore. Like, that was a unique time, that show.
Right.
That show was
doesn't
huge.
Exist anymore. Yeah. Massive.
Huge. What else is on your agenda? What are you thinking about? What are you challenged by?
What am I challenged by? I am challenged by. That's a really good question.
Thank you. Received.
I think I'm challenged by myself.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it sounds cliche, but like you're always your own biggest obstacle. I don't know if you feel this way, but like when you're trying to like strategize, trying to like figure out, okay, you know, what's my next move, all that sort of stuff. It's like you know what the problem areas are, and you know how to fix it. And it's like, you just have to fix it. But again, if the problem area is like something, you know, if you feel like you're not disciplined enough in a certain area, like you are the obstacle in that sense, right? So I just feel like the thing that I keep running up against is like myself.
And you think most people know that they are the obstacle?
I don't know if most people know that they're the obstacle.
But you're telling most people they are the obstacle.
But I think I'm telling most people that you are the obstacle. Yeah. I don't know. Do you ever feel that way?
Yeah. Yeah, we are the obstacle. I say I have this sort of overarching question in my life that has often been, why do we do the things we know are wrong for us but do them anyway?
Right. That's...
I believe
you said it better than I did.
I do believe in outside circumstances as well.
Sure,
like some people just... The luck of the straw is not...
Of course.
You know...
Of course.
Is not the best. But for the most part, yeah, I would say that we are obstacles. But I think I want to find a different word because it's so aggressive.
No, you're right.
I think we are...
limiter. How about a limiter? Is that
a limiter, yeah.
Still too...
I just like... That's also our medicine. Like,
because we are the
on the other side of us,
right. It's us.
It's us. It's still us that we have to face in the morning, you know. So I don't want to like be like you're bad, but I also recognize
you're not bad. It's not bad. It's just it's almost like a sense of like it's a confidence thing, right? That is the solution to.
We are the solution and the problem. I mean, literally, that's though you're describing humanity.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about like the Elon Musk thing, right?
Yeah.
The confidence it takes to be like, oh, I'm just going to pop out 16 children.
Oh, God.
If we had more of that, I think that would solve so many things. And unfortunately, we're constantly being like, oh, well, listen, I don't want to shake the rafters. I don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't want to shake the boat because it's a good thing right now, whatever. But the reality is you can take so much more than you think you can. You can take up so much more space than you think you can.
This I can get behind deeply because we all know that line, carry yourself with the confidence of a mediocre white man. Yeah. But I like what you're saying about, and that's why enough is a big part of this, my work, my world. Every person listening and watching can take up so much more space. Yeah. I like this. This I like. And so maybe that is our obstacle. We're forgetting that we are forgetful.
Forgetful, I like that.
Of how capable we are. Yeah. How powerful we are,
yeah.
How much space we can take up,
yeah.
How much we can claim, how much we can go after. So I like this. Yeah, I'm not anti-obstacle to self because there's a lot of shit I do that I'm like, just be different.
Right.
Just do it differently. But that's the thing about habits and brains. I think that's where brains come in and the weird games we have to play with ourselves 100%. Just to...
100%.
You know, I've been meditating for 16 years and...
Wow. It's awesome.
I've been trying to meditate twice a day for 14 years, you know, consistently.
Yeah.
And I am the obstacle. I just have to stop. Like, I just have to stop for anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes at a second time in the day.
Yeah.
And there's so many moments.
Right.
I could do it right now. It would be weird, but I could. You know?
Yeah.
I could do it when you leave. But will I? No. I could do it in the car.
Right.
Before I drive off. Will I?
Right. Because you have that time. You literally have the time.
Of course I have the time.
And it's like...
Everyone has the time to write their half a page.
Exactly. But it's doing it. It's doing it, right?
So, yeah, maybe I have full circle. We are our biggest obstacle. Be better.
You become an adopter. There you go.
Just change.
It's taking up the space. I think that's the best way to describe it. We have so much more capability than we allow ourselves to have. And, like, just got to do it.
Just got to do it.
And you got to tell yourself.
Philosophy.
Nike philosophy, we're back to it.
I'm always trying to just get ads here. So, you know, no, I'm
kidding.
Keep
the camera, Nike.
But if Nike does want to give me an ad, Nike doesn't do many ads. They're Nike.
This will be the first one.
Thank you.
Yes.
You call them, please.
I'm putting it out.
Please call them and tell Nike to hook it up.
Yeah.
I'll take some Nikes. Happily. As we start to wrap up, any questions, any big ideas floating in your head?
How about this?
Excited. That's always a good.
I listened to one of your other guests with Janelle English. I think it was your most recent one. She was talking about creative valuation.
Yeah. I like that one.
And I think that's a really good term. Like what we were talking about just now. I think that's the best term that we should use for all of this. How do you feel about that? And what do you think, if you're to distill it down?
Yeah, to those, Janelle English is a publisher. Formerly ran the Academy, actually. Left the Academy. So understands the power of media in many forms. And Janelle English was talking about, I guess, I'm just like feeling grateful right now that I get to have cool conversations with people.
Yeah.
Like that's just a wave that took over me. But Janelle English was talking about, she's starting a new company and she says, I have to know how to creatively evaluate my worth. And we do this every day, regardless if you're starting a company or not. What is the worth of your half-a-page script? Right. What is the worth of me writing a book? What is the worth of me being an artist? What's the worth of me leaving Austin and deciding I don't want to do medicine, I want to do that? Right? We're always creative evaluating ourselves constantly. And so, I think that's a really beautiful model. And remembering that, like, companies worth billions don't make any... I don't think Amazon has still made profit, y'all. Isn't that crazy?
Not in their shopping. It's wild.
What?
That's wild.
The fuck?
Yeah.
And so if these companies can say I'm worth billions and I haven't even earned anything, you are so much more valuable.
Yeah.
You can creatively evaluate yourself
just by existing.
At billions of dollars or billions pounds of joy, whatever you want to creatively evaluate yourself at. And we don't do that. It does completely tie to taking up space.
No.
We do not value ourselves high enough.
We don't.
That's a fact. Jordan knows this. Jordan's our brilliant studio mind and genius. And Jordan's got a mic. Oh, you can't.
Jordan, do it. Come on, Jordan.
No, I can't.
Oh, you can't. You actually cannot. Okay.
Because Jordan and I, we were talking about like the hustle of being a creative.
Yeah.
And how I was just like, Jordan, you just need to sell your mind. Start the creative agency. Just sell your mind. Don't work for other people. Like, sell your mind. Sell your brilliant ideas. You'll see what this looks like. Like, Jordan's a genius.
This is amazing.
To all those listening, Jordan's a genius. Jordan Moore.
I support that. I concur.
Yeah.
You were also talking about in that where you were developing a movie, right? And you didn't get enough interest until
Oh, it was crazy. Yeah.
when you raised the budget. Everyone's like, "Oh, now I'm interested," and that's wild because I've had those same conversations where they're like, we're not really looking at movies in this range.
We're not moving at this range. We're not looking at this range.
What? Like, what are you talking about? It's like you're trying to, this is less risky for you. But you're telling me, you're not going to make enough money off of it? Like,
it's so weird. It's so weird. It's still weird.
And then it's
I'll
like,
play the game.
Exactly. And then the other flip side of it is that, you're going to raise the budget. But I don't know. You're like a first time filmmaker. I don't know if we can trust you with that budget. And it's like, dude, make it make sense. All right. How do you want me to? How can I package this for you so that it's more enticing to you? Just give it to me direct, right? Is it me? Am I the problem? What is it? Right?
They don't even know.
Right. They're just business people, just like kind of.
And yet, I think Steve Jobs said it, and he said people don't know what they want. You have to tell it. You have to sell it to them.
Yeah. Exactly.
And we do forget this. We really forget this. Like, I have an iPhone. It's great. It's not the better phone. Androids have way better technology. They've
So
often
better.
had the better computer
The entire time.
and yet here we all are in this room with our iPhones. Like, they're not the better.
It's wild.
They're more expensive.
Yep.
And they're not better.
Yep.
And here we are, sold. Like, and
We know the problem and we know how to fix it.
We are the obstacle. And so with our creative evaluations, it's like we have to just tell them this is what you need and this is what you want.
Yeah. It's like confidence.
But also playing that chess. It's crazy chess.
That's wild.
It's crazy chess to be a creative.
Yeah.
It's crazy chess to be alive in the world and want to have peace. But to be a creative.
It's next level. Next level, man. Because there's so many different aspects. You're putting on.
You're moving all the pieces.
Your whole brain is working, right? And not just one half or the other half.
And that's where it gets exhausting. Yeah. And that's unfortunate because
it should be fun, right? It
Yes.
should be like, this re-energizes me every time I do it.
But it is fun for you, yeah?
It is fun, 100%. But it's just like the frivolous bullshit of it that just kind of, weighs you down. And you're like, oh my gosh, okay.
I like to imagine, I think for you, I'm speaking for you. You
Yeah.
can correct me. I'm speaking for Jordan. I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for a lot of creatives. I think it still gives us more than it takes from us. But as soon as it takes from us more than it gives us, we should consider
100%.
walking away.
100%.
And I think this is healthy. On a daily basis, I evaluate my life. Like, God gave us a steering wheel for a reason. Sometimes we turn left, sometimes we turn right, sometimes we need to get out of the car. And I'm still given more than is taken from me. Like, it's so dope I get to have these conversations. I would pay that.
Yeah. The pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. The pros and cons. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
your
The
life is
gratitude
still
list,
the
yes.
gratitude list. It's like your cup is
100%.
still full. Your cup is still very much full. Going off of that, there's this. I forgot which actor said this, but it was at least regarding the acting profession. It's like if you really, you still enjoy it when the moment that they say action to the moment that they say cut, you are just euphoric. And thankfully, I still feel that way. That's no matter what shit I had to go through that day, no matter what I ate, who pissed me off, whatever, like that moment is still like what I look forward to every single day that I'm on set.
Cool.
And so I know that, okay, I'm very happy with what I do. I love this and,
Yeah. May we all be euphoric.
euphoric.
Amen. Anything else? Any last questions? Any ideas?
I love your T-shirt. Who is that on your T-shirt?
Sade.
Sade.
It's the queen. That's my queen.
Oof. Beautiful.
She's the best.
That's awesome.
Edit note. Play Sade now. That's what happens. We play Sade now. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. And that's our time, y'all. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, tell all your homies, and I will see you next week with another wonderful episode. Much love. Peace.